Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show, and what an incredible show we have lined up for you today. We have Mr. Alan McComas, the #1 best-selling author of The Laidback Lifestyle. Anyone can have it. Alan's book actually debuted #1 on the Amazon bestseller list in several categories, and it's an impressive book. It actually, as I reviewed the site, it has, at the time that we're doing this interview, over 53 incredible reviews on the site. So it's been incredibly successful, and I wanted to get Alan on the line for this interview to have a laid-back interview. Alan, thank you so much for taking time to be with us on today's show.
Hey, thank you, TC. Thanks for having me.
Well, fantastic. We appreciate you coming on, and congratulations on your book debuting #1 on the Amazon bestseller list. That's a huge accomplishment.
Well, thank you. I don't want to say it was a surprise, but it was, since I just started the book 6 months ago, and it's one of those, you put your heart and soul into something and live and breathe it for 6 months, and then all of a sudden it just comes to fruition, I guess, and there it is. I just got my proof, actually, of my paperback in the mail yesterday, so that's even more real, I guess.
Right. Well, what was your driving motivation, to write the book?
Well, that's a good question. I get that asked all the time, and I had to actually think about it about a year ago. I always have these, my friends say, Al-isms, all these funny puns and philosophies on life. They're not anything new, but I'm always throwing things out there. And I was reading someone's book, I don't know, last fall, and they were talking about just writing a book and more leaving a legacy. I had no intention of being #1 bestseller, and actually didn't even have intentions of selling it, period. It was more leaving a legacy for my kids, grandkids. One author I was listening to, because I don't even read books. I listen to audibles. I listen to them in the car.
Sure.
But he had mentioned about if you write a book or memoirs, whatever, which is kind of what it started out as, your great-great-great-grandkids that would never even know who you are, and which we don't know our great-great-great-grandparents, but if we had a book that they wrote 150 years ago, that'd be pretty exciting. I mean, it's like they're forever. So I got thinking about that, and I think, okay, and just started jotting notes in my philosophies, and just kind of started recording notes as I drove and thought about things, and then I signed up for a self-publishing school, and that really brought the whole thing together. As far as organization, bringing your thoughts together, you have to mind map it, and it showed me the process, because if you just sit there and stare at your computer and say, I'm going to write a book, nothing's going to come out. You're going to sit there and stare at it forever. So it really brought the system together, and you start mind dumping and throw it out there. Don't think about formatting or organization or anything. And I have a poster board, 2 of them huge, with just scribbles on it that I did back in November when I started. And then it was just a process, and then once you get into it so far, now you got all this invested time, energy. Okay, just the next step, you can do this, and then the next thing you know, I got it on Amazon, and one step leads to another, and and that's why we're here talking.
Exactly. Well, let me. I read somewhere, Alan, where most people want to write a book, but most people will die with their book still in them. What would be your thoughts about that?
Oh, I totally agree. It's I would have never thought, I would be an author, period, 6-7 months ago. And the more just the conversations that's come out of this, in our engineering business, in our real estate business, I could be in a meeting now, and the whole conversation can go because of my book, which has nothing to do with our engineering or our real estate business. It's just the inquisitiveness or the, I don't want to say mystique, maybe that's the right word, but you're an author. Now the book might suck, who knows, but you're an author.
Right.
And it's my thoughts, you know. Somebody once said, if anybody says, hey, you know, your book isn't any good, well, I'm just going to tell them, well, my book's better than when you ain't that. So how's that one?
Yeah.
Nobody's ever said that to me, but, you know, that's a good mental thinking on it. And, you know, you're a little scared at first, and then you try to write it and rewrite it. And finally, I just had to say, release the hounds, you know. You can look at this thing and take it to your grave, and nobody would ever read it. But it's my words and what's coming out of my mind and thoughts, and it's all tips on living a happier, more fulfilling life. And it's not rocket science. None of this is new. You don't invent anything new, but it's good reference material.
Right. You know, one of the
really
benefits.
Proud of. Well, go ahead.
One of the benefits that I think you touched on in being a published author, just being a published author, not talking about the best-selling author, but the published author, just that benefit is how your friends and your family and clients and prospective clients, their perception of you immediately changes, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's sort of like it's a little bit confusing at first because you feel like you're the same person, that nothing has changed, but there's a shift that happens in the minds of your family and your friends and prospective clients and how they view you. Have you found that to be true?
Oh, absolutely. It's a whole nother level. Just announcing that I'm going to write a book, which is one thing that I had to get over, and you probably saw it on Facebook back when I was down in your area in Fort Myers. I threw it out there. I'm going to write a book. And that was kind of like the first month, my first step of learning this process, throw it out there to the world. And once I threw it out there on Facebook, I couldn't quit then. So there's accountability there to myself. But yeah, as soon as I announced it, the buzz was everywhere. I mean, from everybody I know and, you know, from Facebook and everybody I hang out with. And then people couldn't wait for it.
Right.
I had the darn
You touched a little bit about... Yeah, you touched a little bit about your background. I know you're a successful business owner as well. Talk to us a little bit about your background in business and, you know, a little bit about that. That would be helpful.
Okay, well, I say my full-time job. I work I'm part owner of an engineering firm. My degree's in architecture. I got a 2-year, I'm not even an engineer, I've got a 2-year drafting degree in architecture. And I started with an industrial firm that did coal mining, silos and conveyors and grain elevators and industrial cement terminals. And I started with them right out of college because architects weren't hiring back in the 70s. And I said, well, I'll work for them till I get a real job that I want in architecture, and I've been doing it for 30-some years now. But it's been very lucrative. Actually, I worked my way up. Our employees, we have a small firm, 15 people. 90% of our employees are master degree PEs, professional engineers. The nuts and bolts of structural engineering. My partner is a structural engineer. They're very detailed, engineering oriented. I am the out-of-the-box thinker, and we all play our part. In fact, most of the time they have to kick me back in the box. But it takes that to run the company, to marketing, to deal with the clients, and because a lot of the engineering types, and nothing against them, they like what they're doing, and just as soon not deal with human beings, or you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
But anyway, so I worked my way up, and I've been a partner in the firm since 1990, so long time. But anyway, then in 2008, our engineering was very slow because of the crash. I want to rewind 1 second. In the 1980s, I got into real estate investing. No money down, all that stuff. And I I made every mistake there was. We had like 50 properties. I bought high, sold low, was the worst landlord ever. Was too nice. Actually, we had to evict a bunch of people. I did everything in 3 years possibly wrong, and fell on my face. And this was the same time I was doing the engineering. I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit. So that was in the 80s. My kids were little, pretty much started from scratch, after going through all that. Didn't think about it anymore. Became partner at the firm, did very well. Then 2008, and I just got divorced in 2004 after a long marriage. My kids were grown, put them through college. But anyway, 2008 came and crashed. So I said, I'm going to do something. And so I dove head deep back into the real estate because I knew it was the right thing. It was a good thing to do. I was just, back in the 80s, I was young, dumb, bulletproof, immortal, all that stuff. So got back into it in 2008, 2009. I think that's probably about the time we met, TC, and the real estate investing, of course, you have. And so I put my heart and soul into it for the last 6 or 7 years. And I want to say part-time, but there is no part-time when you're an entrepreneur. Still doing the engineering business, but then nights and weekends I would work on the real estate investing. And since 2009, we've done, I got a partner. I got all the people that can do the things that I was not good at. And I did just the opposite of everything I did in the 80s. And we've done, 100 all single-family houses, about 100 single-family house deals. We have a very large portfolio of single-family homes, mostly sold on rent-to-own. I have somebody that manages, everything's outsourced. We've talked before, TC, I don't even go see the houses. But anyway, it's about systematizing and doing that. And one of my friends said, why would you ever want to get back into that after what happened in the 80s? And I said, well, that would be totally crazy if I went to my grave not using the information that I obtained by making all those mistakes in the 80s. So that's about just grabbing it, and failure wasn't even an option. So I'm very proud of that. Kind of the same thing when I decided to write a book in the fall. Now that I've done that, I've got 2 more books that probably come out probably in the next 3 or 4 months as well. In fact, I got on this kick of all these thoughts flowing and all these notes and whatever. I actually have to downsize. I come out with probably 3 books in my notes, but I downsized it to make it the better size for the paperback. It's 150 pages or whatever, but anyway, so that's pretty much my history.
Fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us on the show, it's our privilege to have #1 best-selling author Alan McComas, author of The Laidback Lifestyle. Anyone can have it. You know, Alan, one of the things that intrigued me about your book, and especially the title and your subject matter, is I had just read an article about the United States of America being the most prescribed for Xanax and these anxiety pills that are out here, that it's we're like leading the world in prescriptions and Xanax and anti-anxiety medication. And here, your book comes out in the midst of when people, I didn't realize that information, that it was as serious as that, but it seems like people have never been more stressed out in their life and have more stress points in their life than ever before, and yet you have hit the nail on the head with this laid-back lifestyle. Anyone can have it. When did you adopt this teaching in your own life, and why don't you tell us a little bit about what exactly is the laid-back lifestyle, and that approach you've taken to your life and into your business? Because obviously, as a business owner, there's a lot of stress with running a successful business as well. A lot of stress points there. So, tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Well, that's when I started the teachings. I didn't look at it that way, but I guess the teaching started when I started to jot it down for this book. But I've always had that positive attitude, even back when I fell on my face, had little kids, couldn't really feed them, that kind of thing, in the 80s. I said, nope, I've learned this. I can, even though I was bulletproof back then, but still, though, I've always had a great sense of humor, and I think I'm pretty damn funny. I guess that's the only person that counts. But I'm always embellishing on real life stories, and we do that, and that's in the book, actually. One of the chapters is called Don't Be Art. And basically, art is my alter ego that I made up. It's in the book. You just have to read it. But he's the butthole, excuse my language. But he's the one that made all the mistakes. It wasn't Alan. It was Art. he shows his head now and then. But anyway, I'm always making these funny stories, and I've always had a good attitude, sense of humor. I mean, even in high school and all that stuff, there's a lot of people that I haven't seen for 40 years that are reading my book now. Now they're posting it. Oh, this sounds exactly like you were in high school. I can hear your voice and all that. So I've always had the big picture mentality. Don't look at what you can't do. Look at what you can do. I don't want to hear people come to my office and go, oh, we can't do this. And that's in the book as well. Some of my engineers, our job is to solve the client's problems, just like any business, even our housing business. But when they come in my office and say, oh, we can't do this, I just lean back and I go, okay, would you call the client and tell them we can't help them? And it makes them think. No. Now, we may not be able to solve the problem that they have at hand, but maybe let's relook at this a different way and identify the situation. But it's the same kind of mentality. Let's look at the glass half full stuff. And I just always had that. And now that it's even more motivating for this book, I'm putting it in writing, really. I've got it as much, if not more, than anyone out of writing this. It's nothing, obviously it came out of my mind, but me putting it on paper and rereading it or proofing it or whatever, it's changed my life and my outlook, because for a while there, even the last few years, I'm thinking, oh, about retirement or what are we going to do with, how the retirement savings is going, all this stuff. I don't worry about that now. And it's not from a financial standpoint. It's, hey, we only have so many days left, which is in the book. We don't know how many that is. Might be one. But if you go by actuarials, I got 9,366 days left, according to the insurance companies. But you don't know what that is. But anyway, I've got more out of this book than anyone. And now I'm really excited, even more so as I'm getting these comments from Facebook, from the Amazon reviews, from all my friends. It's just more motivating to me. I've had, just for a quick example, somebody, my best friend in high school, which we haven't seen each other, hung out for 40 years. He read it. He helped me kind of proof it. We ran into each other again at a funeral last year. Kind of got reacquainted. He read it. He says, Alan, he's got 5 kids. They're all in their 20s and 30s. I'm buying it for all of them, for Christmas, their birthdays, whatever. And it's a great book especially for any age, but for 20s, 30s, and it's very easy to read. It's more of a reference book. I went into the bank today and Keisha, I go, we read your book. I can't wait for the paperback because I want to highlight these things and go back. She goes, it's definitely the things we've already known to do, but darn, it just puts a seed in their head. So anyway, my friend from high school, that just made me feel good. He wanted to buy it for all of his kids and whatever. So it also got me thinking, and I've had two other distant friends of mine. They're my age. I'm 63. Worked with them distantly for a long time. But anyway, 2 different scenarios come out of them reading the book. They don't know each other, but they both were on the verge, or are now, of retirement and thinking whether they should or not. And one of them called me up and says, Al, you changed my thinking. He could financially retire from the coal mine, was just going there through the hoops, trying to build up some more of his retirement, but he was okay. And he said, once I read your book, he goes, Al, I'm retiring next month. He goes, life's too short, and there's other things I want to do. Now, I'm not saying everybody read my book and you go retire, because on the other hand, I got another guy, just the opposite. He read it, at the same age as me, and he goes, Al, I'm never going to retire either, because my book says I'm not going to retire. Now, that don't mean I'm going to be doing the same thing, or what I'm going to do is rebalance. But what he's going to do, he's not going to retire, but he's going to take more time off. He's not going to retire because he loves what he's doing. But some people think they have to, or they should retire if they say, or whatever. No, because I got a lot of years left. I got a lot of things to contribute. I'm going to take more time off, rebalance, do more, travel with my wife, and do more online from a distance. You can Skype and do whatever, on the computer, and start doing those kind of things, which is what I'm doing myself as well. So there's two. Everybody's got their own interpretation of the laid-back lifestyle. There's 7.5 billion people in the world, so there's really 7.5 billion laid-back lifestyles that everybody has to come up with their own way. But what I'm kind of putting in the book, it makes you rethink and reevaluate where you are, where you want to be. If you're not happy, then take some moves to change that. You don't have to do it with high risk or high financial risk or whatever, but also start looking at things a little bit differently. It's a mindset, an attitude. And I don't know if I got off the track there with your question there, TC. But,
no, absolutely perfect, spot on. Alan, I'm looking at our clock. We're almost out of time for this segment of the show, but I do want to allow you a little bit of time at the end to just pull up the chair by your fireplace there in Ohio and speak to somebody right now that is not living that laid-back lifestyle. What would you say to that person that maybe is so stressed out right now and they're not happy with their life? I mean, take this opportunity to sort of look them in the eye and look them in the heart. And what would you say to somebody that's just has taken an opposite approach, I guess, to life? And what would be your final words of encouragement to that person?
Well, I guess never give up. Also, I think the big thing is a lot of people have a laid-back life. They just don't realize it, don't appreciate it. And I'm not saying that some people are spoiled, but some people are. But people do have rough times. I mean, there are rough times, but look at what you do have. Look at people that have it worse. Reflect. Appreciate what you have. And look at options. There are so many options out there. And some of my older friends, they're not into the tech thing, but the Google stuff. You can go online. You can do, if it's a money thing, there's many millions of options to make money online and various things. And you're an example of that, PC. And so am I. Between the real estate, from the books, for your own consulting, everybody's got something to teach someone. And you could be a consultant. I mean, everybody's got a experience. Somebody might be 30 years old, but they still have experiences that a 60-year-old doesn't have, for whatever, or vice versa. You can always help others and be a servant. If you help others, it's going to help. It's just going to come back to you. So, I guess I don't want to say concentrate on your own problems, but reach out and see, how can you help others? Once you start helping others and everything, the whole world could very easily open up. It's just my book has opened changed my whole perspective. I don't get down at all. I didn't get down too much before, but now, I mean, I can't wait for the next 30 years. I don't want it to end. I don't go fast, but I have so much I have so much to look forward to, and hope to live long enough where the medical profession can replace everything. And hopefully the 100 is the new 60. So I got 40 left. I'm not just barely halfway there. So those kind of things. some of my friends, they look a lot older than me, but they're thinking they're at the end, and they're 64 or 65, and I'm like, this is just beginning. I got so much to share, but if everybody was thinking like that, and so if they're getting down all that stuff, and I know there's people have physical ailments and all that stuff, but if the mind can really help even the physical stuff so much. Don't reach out and see how many people you can help. I guess that's
right.
And I haven't thought about this till you just asked me, but if you go out and see how many people you can contribute. It doesn't have to be financially. It can be time. A lot of times financial is not, in fact, most of the time is not the answer. There's all kinds of rich people out there that are not very not laid back at all.
Right.
So it's all what you make of it internally, and don't keep it inside. Go out there and help people. Share what you know. A lot of people by age 60 and they lost their job and now they cannot be employed, or from a conventional, whatever you want to call it. But you sure have experiences, and you could help somebody that's 20, 30, 40, anybody, That would be my take on it in a nutshell, I guess.
Right. Well, Alan, thank you so much. I would like the interview to continue. However, we are out of time, so I'd like to invite you back at another time to dive into this topic even further. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk about the success of your book. Congratulations on the success of your book. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been interviewing #1 best-selling author Alan McComas, the #1 best-selling author of The Laidback Lifestyle. Anyone can have it. And as a matter of fact, you can have this book as well. If you get over to Amazon, you too can live the laid-back lifestyle. So, Alan, thank you so much, sir, for coming on the show today. Look forward to having you back sometime in the future. Congratulations on your success. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for listening to this episode, and we'll see you next time on the show.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.